Halfway through the Olympic men's hockey tournament in Milan. It's 100% hockey, best on best with Millard and Shannon. Ken Hitchcock is back. He'll join us in just a little bit. But we have the seeding for the qualification games, and we know the four teams who have buys into the quarterfinals. Any surprises after Canada, the U.S. Went through perfect, and Finland and Slovakia also gained buys?
Well, I think you have to be surprised about the Slovaks. They weren't supposed to be that, pool winner. That was supposed to be the Finns or the Swedes. So from that perspective, that would be the one that would raise an eyebrow. At the same time, when you look back at the first day of the tournament, when the Slovaks did beat the Finns, you realized, okay, the world is changing a little bit. That is a factor now. That there are some new younger players, and let's face it, the Slovaks are young, big, and fast, and that will play into them being a much better team. The biggest challenge for them is goaltending, right? And their goaltending has been okay. It hasn't been great, but it's been okay. So from that perspective, they're the surprise. By the way, just as a complete aside, there are two generations that won't understand this, but there used to be a country called Czechoslovakia, and the Czechs and the Slovaks would be one team. They would be a hell of a team when you consider what the Czechs bring to the table and what the Slovaks bring to the table.
Global Maps have elected to go a different way.
Yes. No, I understand that. Well, as the commissioner, as the commissioner said so adroitly on the CBC News this week, the National Hockey League does not involve itself in geopolitical affairs. when he was asked about, are you disappointed the Russians aren't here? The National Hockey League does not involve itself in geopolitical affairs.
Yeah, and I'll just say there's a simple solution to that. Just make it, and we're good.
Yeah.
And you can come back and you can play all the games that you want.
Okay, you're going to break down the game. You're going to break down the games now.
Well, I just want to give everybody an idea of what's coming up. So Canada at 3-0 gets about to the quarterfinals. They will face the winner of Czechia and Denmark. The Americans are through. They, based on dropping to the second seed of the teams that in pool play, will face the survivor of Sweden, Latvia. That was the big carrot for Canada to run up the score against the French and ensure that the goal differential gave them the number one seed, because Sweden could be a dangerous opponent in a quarterfinal matchup if they get by Latvia. Slovakia awaits the winner of Germany and France. That's a good setup for Slovakia. I think we're still waiting for Germany to hit stride here. And Finland gets a bye to the quarterfinals. Switzerland and Italy will play for the right to face off against the Finns in the quarterfinals. Switzerland and Finland looks like it'll be the matchup there.
I'll tell you what. You can look at that and say, well, Switzerland, Italy. That will be the craziest crowd at the games.
Yeah, because the Swiss have a great support, right?
And neighboring countries.
Yeah,
they're right there, baby. And so it will be a hoot to watch the Swiss fans and the Italian fans have a good time. The game may not be very good, Daren. The game may not be very good, but the Swiss and the Italian fans will make it as entertaining as any game could possibly be. By the way, so they all go to the quarterfinals, and then what happens after the quarterfinals? So there's no games tomorrow, no games on Monday, the qualification games Tuesday, the quarterfinals on Wednesday, and then they reseed. So Canada, the United States, if the good news is they cannot play if they both advance. They cannot play in a semifinal.
Okay, so if Canada and the U.S. are going to play in this tournament, it will be in the final.
It has to be in the gold medal game. Yeah, yeah. So that's the one. That's the one positive out of all this. That would have changed had the Germans won today. So I think, I mean, and it's a moot point now, but Germany did have a chance to win the pool today had they beat the Americans, and they just did not have enough left in the tank. And Leon was tremendously frustrated all day long with his teammates, with the Kachucks, with the referees. I'm sure almost as frustrated as he was with the Oilers before the break. So.
The Americans go through undefeated, as does Canada. You touched on the U.S.-Germany game. Canada blows out the French 10-2. Celebrini with a pair, and then there was Wilson, Taves, Stone, McDavid, Crosby, Makar, Hagel, Horvat. 9 other goal scorers in the game for Canada. It was spread out pretty well, although those top 2 lines were dominant.
Yeah. So tell me the top 2 lines, because I always laugh at people when they say the third line and the fourth line, because the third line and the fourth line of this team could be number 1 lines on any other team. I mean, it's just
true, but I think
you have Sid's line as the second line. Yeah,
I have Sid lines. Sid, Marner, Stone are the second line, and Celebrini, Wilson, and McDavid were the first line. And Wilson was put back with McDavid for this game.
And I think we understand why, because I think there was a belief that the French might be a little chippy, and you have to protect the big boy. And so I think that makes a ton of sense. I do think that in the quarterfinal, there's probably a better chance that we're going to see Nathan McKinnon back on that line. I think it just makes a ton more sense to put Nick Suzuki back in the middle on the third. If you want to call it the third line, or
you do what they do with McDavid and Draisaitl and just mix and match throughout the game.
It was, I'm going to ask Ken this, because it almost looked too easy for 3 games for me for Canada. That's my only concern.
But they had a difficult road going in.
Well, that's what we
certainly
all
more than the Americans.
Yeah, but the Americans got off to slow starts in all 3 games. All 3 games, they got off slow starts. Canada was running on all cylinders in every game. I'm concerned about, do teams in these tournaments face enough adversity to learn? And I know these guys are great, and I know they're professionals, and I know they are hyper-focused. But you do wonder what happens when they get to that point where they are challenged and see something in a game on Wednesday night or on Friday night that they haven't seen before. How do they manage that? Have they seen enough adversity? I do think that that's a fair question to ask at this point.
And it's fair because Canada has faced adversity in past tournaments, and they've ended up winning. And
in fact, Daren, 2010 was as good an example of any, because I think they finished 5th in the preliminary round, had to play Germany on the Tuesday night in the qualification round, and that's when Shea Weber put the puck through the net, right? If you remember that. He hit shot the puck so hard it went through the net, and then they played the Russians on Wednesday night in the quarterfinal and destroyed the Russians. So
2002 got blitzed by Sweden, the torpedo, and in the opener, and got it together. Before we get to Ken here, 4 players had 3 points for Canada. Sid, McDavid, Celebrini, penalty shot goal, 19-year-old, Olympics, was unfazed. And then Mark Stone, and he takes knocks for his skating. He never, and I watch him every night, he never loses a puck race, John.
Nope.
And he pulled away on that breakaway and was able to give himself enough room to put home a shorthanded goal. So I think he's been a bit of a revelation to a lot of fans.
I think we learned that. I think we learned that a year ago. By the way, do you know?
I listened to the commentary going into the selection of this team, and he wasn't on it for a lot of pundits.
By the way, do you know a year ago? It was a year ago today that we had the 9-second brawls. A year ago today.
Punch up.
the punch up at the Bell Center in Montreal. That was 365 days ago.
Learned a lot.
I think
since
Mark
then.
Stone. I think Mark Stone controls his stick better than any other forward in the National Hockey League. I think he always has. I think that's his greatest strength. I think he knows how to. I think his takeaway ratio is fantastic. And by the way, I think I just invented a stat there. His takeaway ratio.
Takeaway ratio.
Takeaway ratio. I just think he's marvelous at it, and that's one of the reasons why he's there. And he is purely one of the smartest players ever to play the game.
Uses an old stick, an older model, and old gloves when he warms up, and then he switches to the new stuff for the game, and he feels great. That's his little secret.
Older than Sid's shoulder pads?
Probably not, but Sid's using those all the time. It's crazy how into it he is to making sure that things are all in order. Ken Hitchcock coming up. Stay with us. 100% Hockey. We'll get the coach's opinion on things. Best on best with Millard and Shannon.
NHL TV is now on DAZN. Hockey lives here.
Here we go.
Watch every game from every team. The best players in the world. And the coldest plays on ice. Watch up to 4 games at once for the ultimate NHL experience. Sign up now at DAZN.
Here is the head coach of 100% Hockey with Millard and Shannon, Ken Hitchcock. Shannon and Millard are...
That means I've been benched.
No,
if Hitch is the head coach, I'm benched.
You're definitely benched.
You were put on waivers. No recall.
That's hurtful. Come on now.
You're a bigger pain in his ass than Hully was back in the day.
Well, Brett and I do have a lot in common.
So we bandied it around a little bit. Just your impression, I guess, of the performance by Canada in the most lopsided game that they've played so far. And then we'll get into the overall performance over the 3 games, Ken.
Well, those are hard games to play against when you know you're that much better than the opposition. But I thought they did a great job of just sticking with it. Scored some nice goals. Nobody got hurt. Now it's time to play for real, and I'm looking forward to the games that really matter now. Tuesday is elimination day for some teams, and then obviously Wednesday's quarterfinals. So this will be interesting now. There'll be some revved up games on Wednesday, I'll tell you that.
John Cooper wasn't very happy after the game against Switzerland where they won 5-1. He thought there were some lapses. Could you see any lapses against the French today, Ken?
You're going to see forced plays at times, and you're going to see overpassing at times. But I always learned to take those games like against the French or against teams like that and just throw them out the door. Let's focus on what your A game looks like, and let's get to the A game as quickly as possible.
What were your thoughts on Tom? What are your thoughts on what Tom Wilson went through at the end of the game?
That's a natural reaction of a guy that's a protector, and you got to like that.
Even in international hockey?
I don't think of it that way. Like it's when you're connected, that's how people react. When you're not connected, they hope the problem goes away. That team is really connected. They're going to need to be now, but I don't. It's a small part of what was in the game. I don't want to overreact to it, to be honest with you, John.
I didn't mind it because of the time and the situation, and he knows what the rule is. He's just gone for that game, and he can get back in there. So it was kind of a perfect opportunity to send a message that you're not going to be able to take advantage of our guys.
Yeah, but I think that's beyond some of the stuff in Europe. That stuff goes on all the time. They're the hook and holding, the extra work behind the scenes. So I think it's just I like it's look, this guy's a factor in the game. He gets points. He makes plays. He's hard on people. He's going to be a major factor if this team's going to move forward.
My only concern would be, and was, now he's not going to have any more supplemental discipline. We already know that. My only concern is, and Ken, you have lived this, is the unpredictability of what the International Ice Hockey Federation views of this extracurricular stuff. And hopefully, and I know saner heads prevailed after the game, but we have seen it in the past where the tribunal will sit there and say, you know what, no, he still has to sit another game. And that's what I'm always concerned about when we play, as I would put it in quotes, Canadian hockey, because that's not the way the Europeans play the game. That would be my only concern.
But John, he's one of 23 guys. And you got people that can replace him if they have to. They've obviously rested Marchand because he's got something going on. Mm-hmm. So you got to, whatever happens. I don't think anything will, but whatever happens. And then you just got to get ready to play, because the Czechs are going to play a lot better than they did the first game against Canada. They're going to play a lot better. So Canada's even going to have to bring their level up another notch if they expect to win.
How close to perfect was Canada during this pool play?
I would say, if you're taking it out of 10, I would say they played at 80%, 75 to 80%.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
It's really good. It's really good. And I would say that percentage would be pretty close to accurate. That's the tempo that they're playing at right now. I love their tenacity around the net front, both ends of the rink. And now it's going to get harder to score. Teams are going to be more committed. There's going to be more sacrifice going on. Now the exhibition games are over. Now the tournament starts. And, whoever gets the Swedes is going to have a tough game if the Swedes play like they did in the last 30 minutes. So, those are things that are going to come out from underground now, that some teams are kind of coming together late. Sweden's one of them, and it'll be interesting to see what they do. And teams like Canada and the U.S. have been on top of their game really from day one.
Well, I mean, if the Swedes, who play Latvia on Tuesday, Ken, they're going to play the Americans if they get to the quarterfinals.
It'll be a tough game for both teams. Real tough game if the Swedes play like they did in the last 30 minutes.
So Connor's had a great tournament. Sydney's been outstanding. He's piling up the points historically significant for Canada. Mark Stone and Mitch Marner have fit in well there. Give me a couple of combinations or players that you've really liked.
It's not so much that, Darren. It's what you don't want to do is peak early. And I'm still hopeful that Canada's got another gear they can play at. So whatever combination it is, you've seen lots of good combinations. Celebrini with McDavid, McKinnon with McDavid, McKinnon down the lineup, Wilson with McDavid. You've seen good combinations. Sid's lines being terrific, especially in and around the nets. But you want to make sure that the team has not peaked already and that this is their leveling out time. You want to see them go to another gear, and that's what I'm curious to see at it. Is there another gear that they can go to? Because whoever wins this tournament is going to have to go to that gear.
So is that on the players or the coaches to get them to that next gear, Ken?
Combination of both.
Okay. How do the coaches do it?
Well, I think it's just making sure that everybody's dialed in without the puck. Everybody's committed without the puck. Nobody's taking anything for granted, and they're doing all the hard things. What Canada's got going right now is they're doing all the hard things really well. All the things that don't show up in stat packages, all the things that you don't read about in the newspaper, they are doing those things really well, and that's what's got to stay on the forefront.
as teams go through tournaments like this, you have to wonder if adversity helps a team gel and create chemistry. Has Canada had enough adversity in your mind, or are they going to get to the same result a different way?
You know, the best part about Canada right now is that they had two tough opponents to start with, two significant teams, no easy games. They played really well in the games, but they had the Czechs and they had the Swiss, and those were good, hard-fought games. I know what the score was, but there were still a lot of battles going on. I think that's done nothing but help Canada, and moving forward, that's going to do nothing but help them in the long run here.
So you see the game so differently and intricately than we do. What are the places that you want to fine tune on Canada's game? Because you look at the record and the goals for and against, and it's been a splendid performance. But where's the work got to do?
Neutral zone with the puck.
Like making the right decisions, or what do you mean by that?
Right calls, right support, everything. If they what they did in the last half of the game against the Swiss, if they play like that in the neutral zone, then good things are going to happen. They were great in the neutral zone.
Do you want them carrying the puck, or you want them dumping the puck?
I want them just making the right read all the time. So when it's time to chip, you chip. When it's time to rim, you rim it. Everybody was on the same page, and then when there's possession entries, you got room to make plays. But the way they were with the puck in the neutral zone in the last half of the Swiss game, that's what I want to see right off the bat.
And to that point, is 3 games enough to have adjusted to a neutral zone that is 3.5 feet smaller?
When you're committed like they are to get pucks deep, yes. The neutral zone is relevant. The size of the neutral zone is not relevant. But they have shown a very strong commitment against good opponents to get pucks deep and to stay on top of people. That's what you want to see.
I'm blown away by what Macklin Celebrini has done on this stage. Does it catch even somebody like you by surprise at all, Ken?
Well, I get to see him because he's on the late games out here quite a bit, but his maturity is beyond belief. Like, it's the maturity of his game and his composure is so impressive. That's what I like about him, is that he's a very mature player who plays a very mature game, and he fits well with this group of guys.
On the same type of topic, if you're blown away with Macklin Celebrini, Daren, I'm going to talk about the oldest guy on the team. Yeah. That I was thinking about Sid today.
He's twice as old as Macklin.
Well, and on top of that, we always revel in guys that play in multiple Olympics, and this is his 3rd Olympics. And do you realize that if had the NHL and the PA and the Federation and the IOC had their act together, this would have been his 5th Olympics? He would have been there in South Korea in 18. He would have been in Beijing in 22. And the markers that Sid would have created over 5 Olympics would have been remarkable. And he's going to make great markers in the 3. But when you're behind the bench with a guy like Sid, or you're in rooms meeting with Sid, what kind of aura is around this guy, Ken?
Just quiet professionalism. He's not a big talker. He does a lot of his talking one-on-one. He meets with the coaches one-on-one. Just his quiet professionalism is impressive. It's fun to be around, to be honest with you.
Have you had any of his banana bread?
No, not yet.
Apparently, this is the story of the year in Pittsburgh, that he's always delivering banana bread to people. And he loves cooking banana bread.
Oh, we've got the bananas part nailed on this podcast. All we need is some bread. That's the story of the moment right now. Back with Ken Hitchcock on 100% Hockey, Best on Best with Millard and Shannon.
Car shopping should be exciting, not exhausting. That's where Car Gurus comes in. They have advanced search tools, unbiased deal ratings, and price history, so you know a great deal when you see one. It's no wonder that Car Gurus is the #1 rated car shopping app in Canada. When you're car shopping on your phone, it shouldn't be a maze. You need to see all the information. With the Car Gurus app, you can. Powerful search tools that you see deal ratings, price history, and dealer reviews on listings all in one place. And you can turn on real-time price drop alerts so you never miss a great deal. Car Gurus connects you with trusted dealerships when you're ready, ensuring a transparent, hassle-free buying process. Buy your next car today at cargurus.ca. Make sure your deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.ca. cargurus.ca.
Boy, it does look when you look at the other teams, like Team USA, like that engine runs through the Kachucks, and there's loads of talent there, but they are the gasoline that fires that thing.
Yeah, but they're not reckless players. They're smart about it. They're really smart players, and they know their sense of timing on the ice is incredible. They know when to rev it up. They know when to slow it down. They know when to take it to another gear. They got hockey sense just like their dad. It's very impressive.
I don't know what you saw. It was Matthew going off the ice, and he was chirping Leon Draisaitl, saying, always a bridesmaid, eh? Going back to their interactions in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And so there's chirping even at this level where you think there might not be. It goes right to the bone. Matthew's not afraid to throw those out there.
No, he loves the darts. That's part of the gamesmanship. That's what you love. You love having those type of guys on your team. You just love it.
Who's the best chirper that you ever coached?
Verbeek.
Yeah?
Pat Verbeek was terrific. His one-liners were unbelievable.
And now he's become such a quiet-voiced general manager. It's funny. He doesn't say anything, or won't give you any fuel for the fire. The other guy you did coach, and you stood behind, and you knew how demanding he was of himself and of his teammates, is Leon Draisaitl. And there were times today, Ken, I felt for Leon Draisaitl, because not many Germans are playing at the same level as Draisaitl, correct?
Yeah, he got frustrated today, but they got a game to play, and he'll be ready for it. But he looked like he was frustrated today.
Tired and frustrated. He's played a lot of minutes.
Yeah, well, game's big. He'll be there. Don't worry about that.
How would you define his maturity? You had a lot to do with him becoming the player he is.
He just committed to 200 feet of ice rather than 150 feet. And when he committed to 200 feet of ice, he became an even better player. And that's where he's at now. He's a fully committed 200-foot player. What I don't understand is why this guy doesn't get all the votes necessary to win the Selke. I don't understand why this guy wouldn't win the Selke with the way he plays. And he's that good in the small ice game and in the down low game in both ends of the rink that he's a dominant player in that area. I don't understand why he doesn't get the accolades that he deserves defensively.
I'll tell you, because the people that vote on it don't understand it. They don't see it enough of the games. They don't see enough of the players. And there should be a panel of 5 experts that vote on the Selke, and you have to be qualified to vote on the Selke. I think it's the most overhyped award based on who's voting on the award. They don't understand it.
But the award should be for the best two-way player.
Not defensive.
Two-way player.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where Leon should be.
Yeah.
Well, it would have been a head-to-head matchup today, because I think you have to put Austin Matthews on that list too, right?
Yeah, he's good too.
Yeah.
Can you give us an assessment on Team USA? Is it fair to even try and judge them after their competition? We talked about Canada having a couple of stiffer opponents. Team USA had a rather easier pool than a lot of other teams.
I would say they're confidence level is so high. They just know that they're going to win the game. That's the way they act and behave. So it's going to get harder for them. You hope they've had enough competition to be ready for it. But their confidence level in their own ability and their skill set is incredibly high. And they know they're going to win the game by the way they play the game.
So based on Darren's question about a score of 1 to 10, and you gave Canada 8, what are you giving the Americans?
6.5 or 7. They got another gear.
But but in listening to you in the first segment, you think Canada is going to have to go to another gear to win the gold medal anyway, right?
Yeah, both teams will. But I think the Americans have another gear that they got to play at that they haven't reached yet. I don't think they've reached that gear yet.
And is there go ahead, John.
No, you were going.
I'm just curious. Is there a nation that is thought highly of, or had medal hopes that you're concerned about after watching this preliminary round?
I would have been concerned about the Swedes, but not the way they played in that last half of the game. If they bring that gear, they're going to be a tough out now. So we'll see, but now's the time of year in this competition is how long do you want to stick around for? And that's going to be really interesting now because you're going to see teams go up a level and down a level. And I'll be curious to see which teams they are. I can honestly tell you, I can't tell you that right now. Americans and Canadians are a given, but the other countries will see what level they can get to. If they get to another level, then it's going to be really intense competition.
What does your gut say about Swedish goaltending?
Well, I think quite frankly, it unnerved the players a little bit. But you've gone down this path. You got to keep going. It's one game at a time now. It's sudden death. So you can't. You throw all that out the window. You can't tell right now.
Do you have a gut on Canada's crease?
Well, hold on. Just before I just want to finish about the Swedes because, Gustafsson played the first 2 games, and Jacob Markstrom played the game against the Slovaks, won the game, lost the battle, but won the game. Are we talking about this being Jacob Markstrom's team now, you think?
I don't know. They got 3 good goalies, don't they?
Yeah, no, they do, but yeah. Wallstedt hasn't even played.
No, I know, but I don't think it matters. I think it's one game, and those guys have all shown that in one game they can be really good, and that's what you're looking at. So I think they just expect their goaltending to make a difference, and I think they want it to be. It's hard to say right now who they're going to go with, but I know one thing: if they're going to win, the goalie's going to have to be the most important player.
So in that case, is it Binnington to the end now, or could you see them flip-flopping?
Well, you're asking a loyal follower of Binner to answer that. I'm not going to answer that. That's the coach's call, but
yeah.
I mean, I think don't you think it's going down that path?
I think so. But in this tournament, if you're ever going to rotate, maybe this might be the time. But based on Coop's loyalty to Binnington, I would assume that he's going with them in the quarterfinals.
Listen, this is what I can tell you right now. When the games are on the line and it's sudden death, the Czechs always play well. So we're going to get a hell of a game from the Czechs. They play like their life is on the line. And I've coached against them a lot, really, since they were a dominant country from 97, 98 until 2002 or 2004. And I was coaching against them in the 2000s, 2002, 2004 World Cup. They were dominant. And the bigger the game, the better they played. And you see it in their junior players now. They got that attitude, and they're going to be a tough out. They're not going to be easy.
Yeah, you're right about the history there. And Czechia faces Denmark in the preliminary or the
qualification.
next stage qualification games. You sound like Czechia is going to handle that fine.
I think they're going to win the game, personally.
That might be a relief because the last time Canada played Denmark in the World Championships, the Danes won.
We don't need a repeat of that.
No,
Yeah,
it's true.
It is true.
Nick Ehlers scored an overtime goal.
So we've got the qualification games, and then we'll get into the semifinals. Canada gets a bye through there. Relief, obviously happy with where they're going. What do you do with them for the next 2 days, Ken?
Well, this is, again, you still got the Olympic experience, and I'm sure they get a chance to practice now, which is going to be good for them. Mm-hmm. Tighten things up a little bit. Now you're going to see a real focus. This looks like a really focused team, and I'm really impressed with their professionalism. I'm really impressed with their focus. I'm really impressed that their best players are their best players. Now they just got to carry it forward.
Yeah, just for the record, Canada has already announced that they're going to have a complete off day tomorrow. There'll be no practice. There'll be no media availabilities. The boys will be on their own to be with their families. And then they will practice at 2:15 Milan time on Tuesday. So there you go.
So right on cue with what Ken had to say. Hey, thanks for this. I appreciate your insight and your expertise and sharing your experience. And we'll talk to you again after Canada plays in the quarterfinals.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, buddy. We'll be back with more on 100% Hockey, Best on Best with Millard and Shannon.
With the NHL app, you can listen to every NHL game right from your phone. And with home and away broadcast feeds, you choose your way to listen.
And he scores!
Whether you're at work, at the gym, or stuck in traffic, the NHL app puts you right in the action all season long. Every team, every game, everywhere you go. Download the NHL app and never miss a moment.
Ken's very positive. 8 out of 10 for Canada. It's nice when the eye test matches the coach's viewpoint, isn't it?
Somebody would have given him a 9.5, but a coach can never go like nobody could ever get. No coach has ever had a perfect game, right?
There's no perfect games.
No perfect game. Hey, I have a pet peeve. Can I tell you my pet peeve?
Sure.
So, there's a ton of stats coming out of every media thing right now, whether it's the NHL, whether it's the Federation, whether it's the networks or websites talking about, points by NHLers when the NHLers are at the Olympics, right? You read all those stats, Sid's got more points.
Oh, yeah. Like Sidney Crosby has the most points for Canada in NHL participation years.
So, Teemu Selanne.
Mm-hmm.
Teemu Selanne went to games before he played in the NHL. Do those count?
I would think so. Keith Tkachuk was the same way.
They don't count. That's my point. They don't count. Ken Morrill, American, Stanley Cup winner the same year. Do his stats count? We're creating this delineation. This is, I'm an NHL guy. I love the NHL. But these are the Olympics. And what we're doing is we're now putting different levels of Olympics together. Do Juraj Slafkovsky's statistics count from 2022 when he had 7 goals? According to them, they wouldn't count. So that whole concept of, when NHLers are here, I'm sorry, that's bullshit. These are the Olympics or they're not.
I don't think it's a big enough deal that warrants that type of language, to be honest. I think you're making a bit of a mountain out of this.
I like mountains. I'm from the mountains.
I believe in the language.
Well, you know what? I'm tired of people creating stats that mean nothing.
Walt Tkachuk is another one. Played in.
Well, Keith Tkachuk, you mean? Because Walt Tkachuk never played in the Olympics. Walt never played in the Olympics.
I call him Walt.
That's Big Walt, as opposed to. But you see my point. Eric
I don't know why it mattered. I I really don't know
why. Why are we building these graphics? Why are we building all these boards? Why are we putting all these stats out on social media? If they don't matter, then don't do them. Just be consistent. There's my pet peeve for the day. I define this as Olympic fever. I define it after 4 or 5 days of the Olympics, you start to overthink things. So,
well, I didn't realize that there was a difference until I heard the stat today about Sidney Crosby setting the record.
So so I didn't realize there isn't a difference. That's my point. Everybody's going to talk about Canada winning back-to-back gold medals. Well, you know what? We won a bronze medal in 2018. Are we not going to give credit to the bronze medal team that won in 2018? Of course we should be. That's why the Olympics are different than the National Hockey League and the Stanley Cup playoffs. So give the Olympics by themselves their due. And don't create this whole, it's like putting another column in the standings. And stop it. Olympics,
which the Olympics do have.
I know they do. I know.
The four columns is confusing.
Well, no, because they put out, if you go to a federation website or an Olympic website, they put points second. And then it drives everybody in our world.
And loss is fourth. So it's like,
yeah. So anyway, thank you for listening. And I know you're appreciative of my observation.
Well, I get your observation. I just don't think it's that big of a deal for you to get your blood pressure up. And that's where I get concerned.
My blood pressure's never up. You have never seen my blood pressure up.
I've heard.
Trust me.
I've heard.
Oh, no.
I've heard stories. Hey, were you a pencil snapper?
No.
What
Was I?
I had a producer who was a pencil snapper, and I could see him through when I did news, I could see him through the window, and I'm like, I'm in trouble.
I was a hand on desk guy.
Oh, really? Like, give me a little hand on the desk.
Again, my desk, it might break.
That'd be kind of cool. And that's solid oak.
Yeah, it is solid oak, mister.
One day when we're looking for some topics, we're in one of those dog days. We got to go through the announcers that drove you the craziest.
I'm not
that
doing
you've
that.
ever worked with.
I'm going to pull a Ken Hitchcock. I can't tell you that.
No, you got to be able to. You never produced me, so that's why I want to talk about this.
That's not true.
No, you produced me. You just haven't been in the truck or the control room when you produced me. You've been sitting beside me.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that, Daren.
Good stuff. So we've got the qualification games on Tuesday, and those teams that win have to turn around and play a back-to-back. It's a long haul.
When are you back on this show? Are you back on Wednesday?
I'm on Wednesday, yeah.
Okay, we'll carry it.
It's really busy down here.
I can
players
tell.
are back to practice on Tuesday. We got stuff going on.
Oh, stop it. I got to walk the dog.
And come up with another thing to get you going. We got to do the points too, because I've done some research into that. Not today, but the 3 points for a regulation win.
We can have that. We might have that Thursday. We can do that Thursday.
It doesn't have to be today, but I've got some interesting sort of how the numbers fall out. Some research there on.
You did research for this show?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'm all in, man. 100%.
No, you're all except until Wednesday.
Exactly.
So, but hey, just do it when you go. Just go back and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe, and then listen to us on one of those podcast platforms or watch us on YouTube.
And we're getting great reaction on YouTube. People chiming in, leaving comments. Do it on all the podcast platforms because we see it all. But right now, the YouTube interaction is on fire. So keep it going. Love to hear from you. And I might even get into conversations with you just to fuel the fire a little bit.
You like poking the bear, don't you?
Well, they like me more.
No, Come on now.
Keep the bugs off your windshield and the bears off your tail. We'll be back.
On the way to
100%
Brandon
hockey.
with the half-mile tree. is in halfway.
Thanks for listening to 100% Hockey, Best on Best with Millard and Shannon.